Okay. All right. I'm sure everybody has seen my screen. Okay. All right. So first of all, my name is Dan Martins, and I will be your instructor for this training section. And I'm very sure you all know what you sign up for. I will take you guys on advanced Excel. Okay, so that being said, I'll be the one to handle this particular course from now till the last day. So I'm very happy to see all of you joining back apart from today, tomorrow, and so on, because we have a lot of things to talk about. And I'm sure you would like to share your own idea and your own experience based on what you've learned so far. All right, so you're welcome. All right, so quickly, the next thing we're going to look at here will be what we're going to just look at quickly today, talking about the Excel part of it. As we know, Excel is very wide, and we have this to be we have the topic to be go the next step with advanced Excel. What that means is that just like we know that in some courses we learn, there are always the beginning or the basic part of it and the advanced part of it. A lot of courses we learn, apart from IT courses, we know that there's a beginning part of it and there's an advanced part of it. Okay, so same thing goes to most of these IT courses. So Excel is not left out. So Excel has its own big basic part and it has its own advanced part of it. And for some of us that learned Excel before, you will notice that Excel is so wide. I think Excel is so broad. So what that means is that sometimes, no matter how we learn Excel, there is a lot to learn right inside Excel. And just to add to that, what really makes Excel so unique is the fact that it makes use of those mathematical functions. Okay, so you may learn how to sum, you may learn how to multiply, you may learn how to use those logical functions, but trust me, it doesn't end right there. There's a lot of functions that is in Excel which we need to learn. And trust me, I'll try my very best for us to learn something right in this particular section. So, all right, so the next thing we are going to do is, first of all, we'll talk about spreadsheet. That is what spreadsheet is all about. And trust me, there's an application or there's a software called, okay, spreadsheet is a software application anyways. Okay, so in other words, Excel comes from spreadsheet, just like for someone who has been learning word processing. If you know word processing, a good example of word processing application is Microsoft Excel, sorry, Microsoft Word rather. So just like spreadsheet, Excel comes from spreadsheet. So what I'm bringing it up just so that we understand in a minute what spreadsheet is all about, maybe to add to what you know about. So we're going to see and talk about what spreadsheet is all about in a minute and talk about what Excel is, just for us to understand something here. But trust me, what we are going to look at today is not just because today is day one, okay, day one of this particular program. So we are not just going to dwell on introduction, though it's good to understand the basics, good to understand the introduction, which is what we're going to do for now. But we're going to go beyond talking about introduction, meaning we're going to talk about a lot apart from introduction. So we're going to look at quickly what Excel is all about. All right, so going forward also, there are a lot of other things we need to look at as well. All right, so quickly, we find out that there's a lot of ways you can define or explain what spreadsheet is all about, okay? But here, I look at spreadsheet as a computer application or software for organization, analysis, and storage of what data in a tabular form. What that means is that a spreadsheet application, you can organize your data. That means that you can gather and organize your data, because we know that data is everywhere. All right. a lot of people working with data. We talk about data analysis, data science, data this and data that. So a lot of people are working with data every day. In fact, the world we are living today deal with data. So we can't run away. We can't escape the fact that we use data every day. So one of the applications you can use to organize and gather this data effectively is spreadsheet application. Now, another thing spreadsheet can be used for is that you can use spreadsheet to analyze your data. That's talking about data analysis. Although apart from spreadsheet, which is used for data analysis, you can also use a program like Power BI for data analysis. You can also use, we talked about Python programming. Okay, in other words, you can learn data analysis using what Python programming. So, but here, Excel also offers us a lot of tools for us to analyze our data. So, spreadsheet organize data, spreadsheet analyze data, and also spreadsheet is that application that allow us to store data. Talking about storage of data. Now, one of the biggest part of using Excel spreadsheet is for calculation. In other words, you can organize this information, you can analyze this information, and you can store this information, but it doesn't just end there. You can as well perform calculation. In fact, one of the most biggest part people use spreadsheet is for calculation. So there's a lot of calculation that you can perform in spreadsheet application. All right. All right, next, we also look at that there's a lot of spreadsheet application available. Talking about example is Microsoft Excel, okay? In other words, there are a lot of spreadsheet application available. So one of such is Microsoft Excel, which is what we are going to talk about. Now, this Excel is among Microsoft Office application. In other words, the moment you install Microsoft Office application in your system, one of such application you have is Excel. So meaning you don't just install Word alone, you don't just install PowerPoint, you don't just install maybe Outlook and other applications, but one of the most used application inside Microsoft Office is Microsoft Excel. That's why we have the inside Microsoft Office. That means we have Microsoft Excel right inside the application. So we also have Microsoft Excel Android app, that's Google Sheet. A lot of us that don't have Microsoft Excel, sometimes you may go online and use Excel. So sometimes you don't need to panic about, oh, I don't have Microsoft Excel in my application on my system. Don't worry, you can use Microsoft Excel app, that's Android app, that's Google Sheet. So you may not really need to waste your time to go to where they sell accessory computer software and install Microsoft Excel. You can, even as we are now, even if you have Excel installed in your system, don't worry, to practicalize this and follow up what I'm going to teach you guys in this section, please, apart from using Excel that is installed in your system by default, please also know that you can use Microsoft Android app, that is Google Sheet. So don't worry about if you don't have Excel, just use your Google Sheet. Trust me, you'll see follow up very well. Now, notice that this run online, okay? I also have other Excel applications like Open Office Calculation. And trust me, there are a lot of other spreadsheet applications available. All right. All right. Okay. So again, we also have other Excel software that you can use though. Okay. But like I said, we are going to focus on using Excel, but I'm just trying to let us know that there are other Excel applications you can use, or there are other spreadsheet applications you can use also. Talking about Microsoft Android app, that's Google Sheet. So in case you don't have Microsoft Excel, but like I said, our focus will be on Excel. All right. Okay. Now, the next thing is, since our focus will be on Excel, of course, we need to know a brief description about what Excel is all about. Like I said, it doesn't matter the brief idea or the little knowledge you have about Excel, at least it's also good for you to know more about, okay, maybe you know a particular definition, a particular explanation about Excel. I mean, it's another advantage for you to know more about what spreadsheet and what Excel is all about. All right, now in a very quick way, you can use Microsoft Excel to store, organize, and analyze data. Just like I talked about Spreadsheet, I said that Spreadsheet is that software that can help us to organize data, analyze data, and store data. Now here we have Microsoft Excel that can help us to do this, all right, because Spreadsheet is just the name, but the application that help us to do all of this is Excel. So now we know that Excel can help us, or Excel is used, or Excel is that application, or Excel is that spreadsheet application that can store data, organize, and analyze data. What that means is that with Excel, you can store a bunch of data, you can organize your data, and you can analyze your data. We're talking about data analysis using what? Excel. So Excel is very broad, Excel is very wide. So it's not just about the basic you learn. Trust me, you're going to learn a lot of things around this section. So Microsoft Excel is a software application, or Excel is a spreadsheet program. Just like I said, we have spreadsheet, an example of spreadsheet, Excel. So now we find out that Excel is Microsoft's spreadsheet program. What is it used for? Storage of data, organize data, and perform calculation. You can also do what? Data analysis, or analyze your data with Excel. But there are a lot of other things which I have not mentioned, which you can use Excel to do. But with this, you know that you can do more with this with the help of your Excel. All right, so quickly, let's look at next thing here. All right, the next thing here is we are going to look at what I call worksheet manipulation. Okay, worksheet manipulation. All right. Now, in our worksheet manipulation, we are going to look at what Excel worksheet is all about. Okay, we're going to look at what Excel worksheet is all about. Now, here we found out that it's a collection of cells. In other words, it is a basic data unit in the worksheet where you can store and manipulate data. Now, let me explain that more. Now, look at the last one before I explain this more. It said by default, every workbook contains at least one worksheet. Now, let me just summarize this by explaining my statement here. Now, what it means is that if you open Excel, you are actually opening what we call a workbook. In fact, let me just let us understand this. An Excel document is called a workbook, okay? That's why I said that by default, every workbook contains at least one worksheet. So Excel workbook is called, Excel document is called a workbook. That means that when you open Excel, automatically you're opening a workbook. Now, inside that workbook you're working with, or inside that workbook you're opening, there's what? A worksheet. Okay? So that's why I say Excel worksheet is a collection of cells. It's the basic data unit in a worksheet where you can store and manipulate data. That means that you open Excel, you have a workbook you're opening to work with. Inside that workbook is a worksheet. Okay? Now, this worksheet allows you to store and manipulate your data. Okay? So you have your workbook, and in the workbook, you have a worksheet that helps you to store and manipulate your data. It's like when you buy exercise book, okay? How many pages? You are just buying a book, okay? Or let's say you are just buying a textbook. In that textbooks you are buying, there are different pages, there are different chapters once you open. So you're opening from one chapter to another, or from one page to another. That's what is happening here. So this workbook is what we are opening. But inside the workbook, there are what? Worksheet. Okay, just like give an example, like you buy a textbook or you buy an exercise book. What you're buying is a book, but inside it there are pages, which you know. So same thing goes here. You're opening a workbook. Okay, when you open Excel, you're opening a workbook. In that workbook, there's a worksheet. Okay, so in other words, I can summarize it by also saying that a worksheet has several pages inside a workbook. Okay, let me take that again. A worksheet has several pages inside a workbook. Remember, you open Excel and you're opening a workbook. Inside that workbook, there are what? Worksheet, which are like pages. So that's why I said that a worksheet has several pages in a workbook once you open Excel. All right. Okay, so going forward, also we're going to talk about worksheet manipulation. Remember, worksheet are pages inside a workbook. All right. All right, so worksheet are several pages inside a workbook. Okay. So we're going to look at how do we manipulate a worksheet, because there are a lot of things you can do inside a worksheet. Okay, so how do you manipulate your worksheet? That's why I call it worksheet manipulation. Okay, all right. So in it, we're going to talk about how to create Excel worksheet. Now, to create Excel worksheet is very easy. Okay, I won't really dwell on that because we have a lot of other things to talk about in our limited time. To create Excel worksheet is like you opening a new Excel. It's like when you click on start and open a new Excel. It's like for someone that are working with Microsoft Word, you just click on start and open a fresh Microsoft Excel. So for you to create Excel workbook, it's like you're opening your Excel. That's what it means. All right. Next, we're going to talk about insert a new Excel worksheet. Insert a new Excel worksheet. Now, by default, a workbook contains one worksheet. I repeat, a workbook contains one worksheet. That means when you open Excel, you have your workbook. Inside that workbook, you have just one worksheet. So a workbook contains one worksheet. So I'm going to show us how do we add several worksheets. Okay. In case I want to prepare a budget for my weekly budget for week 1, week 2, week 3, am I going to create several worksheets? Am I going to create different pages to perform my calculation in different pages? So I'm going to show you different ways you can add or insert Excel worksheet. Remember, worksheet in this case is like a page. All right. Next, we are going to look at rename Excel worksheet. Okay. Rename Excel worksheet. All right. That's the next thing we're going to look at. Now, next, we're going to look at delete. Okay. We're going to look at delete. All right. Now, next, we are going to look at how do you hide Excel worksheet. Let's assume we have several worksheets and you want to hide some of them. Okay. So how do you hide your Excel worksheet? We're going to do that right now. Next thing we're going to look at will be how do you protect Excel worksheet? Sometimes you may have some confidential information or some important information. How do you protect your worksheet so that no other person will have access to it, so that intruders or some people will not have access to edit the content of your worksheet? All right. So we're going to look at how you can protect your worksheet. All right. Next, we're going to look at how to protect your workbook. Remember the difference between what worksheet and workbook. Okay. I said that a workbook is an Excel document. All right. Then in a workbook, there are, okay. So we're going to see how you can protect your worksheet and how you can protect your workbook. All right, quickly, we're going to look at autofill. All right, autofill. We're going to look at autofill, which is what Excel offers us to make our tasks easy. How do you automatically fill information? So we're going to look at that as we proceed. All right, the next one we're going to look at will be creating a dynamic and static list. Okay, we talk about autofill. Okay, we talk about autofill, but inside that autofill, I'm going to show us how to create a dynamic and static list in Excel. Then the next one we're going to look at there will be a flash fill. All right, flash fill. Okay, so trust me, this is just what we're going to look at in this first day and in this introduction class. And with this, you're going to learn a lot, and very sure you achieve, if not 1, if not 2, if not 3, at least something at the end of the day. All right. So having explained and described all this, without wasting much time, let's jump into our Excel and see how we can work on it. Remember, you can ask any question at the end of this section, and trust me, we'll give you time to ask that. I will answer all your question. All right. Okay. So yeah, I'm in my Excel page. Okay. It doesn't matter the Excel you are using. Excel is Excel. Whether using Office 210, whether using Office 216, whether you're using Office 365, or whether you're using Office 2023, or whether you're using Office 2022. All right, I'm very, very sure you're going to follow along. Okay, again, please, you can drop if you have any questions so far or any message, you can drop in the message box so that we can respond or get back to it. All right. All right. So yes, our Excel screen, like I said, let me quickly explain a few things before we jump and see other stuff. All right, which will help us so far. Now, we know very well that our Excel screen is made out of rows and columns, just so we know. Okay, I don't want to start as if everybody knows everything. No, okay, I just want to start as if we are here to learn from the beginning. Okay, I would have just start talking about calculation, but we'll talk about that tomorrow. Let's just see the important part that will help us to proceed for today. Okay, it's like trying to enter a house. If you don't open the door, you can't enter your room or you can't enter your house. So that is the truth about it. So I want to open the door so that we understand some interface. And trust me, one of the things I'm going to talk about here will help us to proceed in our next section tomorrow and so on. Okay. All right. Now, if you look at your Excel very well, if you look at my screen very well, which I'm going to take my time to break a few things down here. Okay, you notice that we have our tabs. Okay, I'm just taking time to explain because, like I said, it will help us in our next section or in our next class. All right. So we have our tabs here. Normally we have our home tab, our insert tab, our page layout, formulas, data, review, view, and developer tab. Please, if you don't see your developer tab, don't worry. Later on, I will show us how to customize our Excel page. Okay, how do you customize your Excel? All right. For example, if you wake up and discover that there's some things that are missing in your Excel, you don't see particular tools that are very important, which I'm going to talk about those important tools that you really need to analyze your data and do some statistical or some data analysis in your Excel. All right. So I'm going to show you where to go and bring out those tools, those hidden tools, because trust me, it's not all the tools that are available by default. Some tools disappear, some tools are not there until when you want to go and bring them out, or sorry, until when you want to use them, you can go and retrieve it and bring them out. So I'm going to show us how you can customize your Excel screen. But trust me, those default tools that you always see, or those default tabs that you always see are home, insert, page layout, formulas, data, review, view, and developer tab. All right. Like I said, your Excel is made out of rows and columns. Please note the column headings are ABC. Okay. That is, the column are labeled with ABC. All right. And the rows are labeled with what? Numbering. That is 1, 2, 3 down. Okay. All right. Now, one of the things I would like us to, I will do for us is I will send us some keyboard shortcut, because we won't have much time to talk about those keyboard shortcuts you can use to execute your tasks very quickly. Okay, I won't have much time for today. Maybe in the next class, I will mention some of those keyboard shortcuts. And aside that, I will create time and generate some important keyboard shortcut and send to us via our email. Okay, so I will do that because I'm going to use some keyboard shortcut here, but I will try as much as possible to mention some of them so that you can know them and apply them in case you want to use them immediately. Okay. All right. So we're going to do that as well. Okay. So Excel has a lot of rows and columns. Okay. Now, but let me just mention this quickly in 1 minute. If you want to know the number of columns in Excel, let me give us a keyboard shortcut. Please listen to this keyboard shortcut and take note. Don't waste your time scrolling. If you want to quickly check the number of columns in Excel, here is what you can do. You can press Ctrl Shift and right arrow key. Okay, you can press Ctrl right arrow key. I repeat, Ctrl right arrow key. All right. Now, once you press Ctrl right arrow key, it will take you to the last column. Look at my own. I have my last column to be XFD. All right, XFD. That is the last column. All right. So control right arrow key, that is control plus right arrow key, will let us see the last column in your Excel. So if you want to know, is it just from A to Z? No, it doesn't start from A and stop at Z. No, it continues to what XFD. So that is the last column in Excel. No matter the Excel you are using, that is how to check the last column. I repeat, control plus right arrow key. That means you hold down your control key on your keyboard, then tap right arrow key. All right. Now, once you do that, I want to go back to the first column. Okay. If you go to the last column, just like I did, control right arrow key, I want to go back to the first column. Here's the keyboard shortcut you're going to do. You're going to use control left arrow key. I repeat, control left arrow key. See now, I'm pressing control left arrow key and I'm able to go to my first column. Okay. So those are the keyboard shortcuts you're going to use if you want to know if the beginning and the end of what your column or the total number of columns in your Excel. All right. Now for the rows, here's a keyboard shortcut you can use to know the number of rows in your Excel. That is the total number of rows in your Excel. The keyboard shortcut is control down arrow key. Okay. You will bear with me that Excel has up to 1 million columns. Okay. There are 1 million columns right here in Excel. So you can see from my own. Okay. Up to 1 million columns. I repeat, control down arrow key, meaning you press control key down, then you tap your down arrow key. You can take note about this keyboard shortcut so that in case you want to try it now, later on your own. All right. Control down arrow key will take you to the last row. And from there, you're going to see the number of columns, the number of rows you have in Excel. All right. Now, how do you go to the first row? Okay. After seeing the last row or the number of rows, now the keyboard shortcut is control up arrow key. See that? I just press control up arrow key on my keyboard and it takes me to the first row, okay? Or you return me back to the first row. So control right arrow key takes the last column for you to know the number of columns in Excel. Then control down arrow key takes you to the last row for you to know the number of rows in Excel. So I'm very sure this will help us to know, or for some of us that don't know the total number of rows and columns in Excel, this keyboard shortcut will help you to see that from now on. All right. Okay. So from my slide or from my first presentation a few minutes ago, the first thing I want us to see how we can work on, first of all, is how to add sheet. Okay. That is how to add worksheet. Remember, I titled it Worksheet Manipulation. All right. If you observe my first slide I did for the introduction of the presentation, okay, so the first thing we're supposed to look at there was how to insert Excel worksheet. Okay, how to insert Excel worksheet. All right. Now, if you look down here, we'll find out that we have sheet 1. Remember, it said that a workbook must have at least one worksheet. So meaning that by default, Excel has, or Excel workbook opening what? One worksheet. So if you look down here, we have sheet 1. That's to say that by default, when you open Excel, automatically you have one worksheet. All right. So that is why I want to show us how you can add extra worksheet in case you want to add another worksheet you are working with. Okay. All right. So, but let me introduce a keyboard shortcut here. The keyboard shortcut you can use to add extra worksheet is Shift plus F11. Okay, Shift plus F11 on your keyboard. Okay. I repeat, Shift plus F11. All right, guys, you hold down Shift key on your keyboard and press F11. F11 is on your functional key. Okay, Shift plus F11. That is a keyboard shortcut you can use if you want to add extra worksheet, because by default you open Excel with one worksheet. So if you want to quickly add a new worksheet, you can use your keyboard shortcut, which is more faster. That is Shift plus F11 on your keyboard. Okay. All right. Okay. Now, another steps I want us to note here is apart from the keyboard shortcut, I'm going to give us 3 methods or 3 ways you can add a worksheet. I've already mentioned one, which is the keyboard shortcut, okay, which is Shift plus F11. Let me give us one more quickly. Another one is by right-clicking on any existing worksheet, okay, by right-clicking on any existing worksheet. All right. When you right-click here, you will see what? Insert, because for every time you right-click, you will see a shortcut menu coming out, okay? So when you right-click in this menu, you will see insert, and from this insert, once you click on it, you will see a dialog box popping out like this, and you will see worksheet, okay? From this worksheet now, once you click, then you can click on OK, all right? I repeat, right-click on any existing worksheet, and you will see insert. And once you click on this insert, then you will see worksheet, and you click on what? OK. All right. All right. I'm sure we understand that. Now, let me give us another method that may help us too. Another method is, if you look down here, you will see a plus sign here. Okay. I've mentioned 2 already. This is number 3. Okay. So this plus sign, once you click on this plus sign, you will see that there's a new worksheet right here. Okay, let me repeat the process. I mentioned 3 already. Number 1, Shift plus F11. That is how you can add extra worksheet. Number 2, I said that you can right-click on this worksheet tab or any existing worksheet, and you will see insert. All right. Then once you click on insert, you click worksheet and click OK. Then number 3, this plus sign you are seeing here, you can also follow that to add extra worksheet. So those are the quick way you can follow to add extra worksheet. All right. Okay, so the next thing here is rename. Okay, the next thing that my presentation slide was rename. Okay, rename. Now, haven't noted how you can insert a new worksheet. Remember, this worksheet we are inserting here is like you adding a page. Okay, think about it as adding a page, because sometimes you may have a budget you are preparing. Let's say you want to prepare a budget from January to December, or from January to June, or from January to July, depending on the month. So you can add several worksheets and prepare your budget. So in this now, how do you rename your worksheet? Because your worksheet may contain several information, okay? It's like when you want to save someone number or someone contact, you can't keep on saving someone number, Martins. No, you have to give it a different name, okay? So if I have a budget, January budget, I can name my worksheet January. In February, I have my February budget, I can name it February, and so on. So what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that sometimes it's very good to name your worksheet and give it a specific name based on the content of your worksheet, okay? Because you may not really like it for it to be sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3, sheet 4, and so on. No, it may look so confusing, and we may not even know the content of the worksheet. So here, number 1 way you can rename your worksheet is by double-clicking on the sheet tab. Okay, look at the sheet tab here. We have sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3, sheet 4. Okay, so I don't want them to be sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3, and so on. So I want to rename it. So in this sheet tab, like for example, sheet 3, I'm going to just double click on it. I'm going to show us maybe 2 or 3 ways you can do this. Number one is this, by double clicking on the sheet tab. Now, once you double click on the sheet tab, that sheet tab will select. Then you can type the name. So let me call it January. Okay, January 2023. All right. Now, once you finish doing that, you press enter. See that? So that means that this sheet called January 2023 contain my January budget or my January sales. All right. Now, here's the next method you can do that. Okay, I'm giving us these methods. I don't want to give us just one. I'm gonna give us like 2 or 3 in case you don't understand the first one. At least you should understand the second one better. All right. So here is the second method. The second method here is you right click on the sheet tab you want to rename. All right. You right click on the sheet tab you want to rename, and you will see what rename. Okay, rename. Now, once you click on rename, that sheet tab will select. Now here, I can call it February sales. Okay, let me just call it February sales. Now, once you type the name, you can press what? Enter. All right, enter. So basically, those are the few ways you can follow to rename your worksheet. I repeat, number one, right click on the sheet tab. Okay, once you right click on the sheet tab, you will see rename. Just type rename, and you just type the name. Okay, then press enter. Number two, I said that you can double click on the sheet tab. For example, this is my sheet 1 tab. You can just do what? Double click on it, and that sheet tab will select. As you can see, then you just type a name and press enter. Okay, so see that I'm able to have a different name for my sheet, like January, February, March, and April, probably based on the content of my worksheet. Okay. Okay. So just those quick way you can rename your sheet, because it will help us as we proceed in case you want to practice on anything or want to rename our sheet. All right, quickly. Let's assume you have several worksheets you don't want. Okay. If you add several worksheets you don't want, how do you rename? Sorry, how do you remove the worksheet? That is talking about deleting worksheet. Remember, the next thing I wanted to talk about was delete worksheet. After you rename, how do you delete a worksheet? Let's assume you have several worksheets you add, maybe by mistake or maybe for some purpose. I want to delete them. All right. So you can delete the worksheet. So how do you delete worksheet? Quickly, to delete worksheet, all you need to do is I'm going to show us 2 ways to do that. Number one is by right-clicking on the sheet tab. I repeat, right-click on the sheet tab, and on that shortcut menu popping out, you will see what? Delete. Okay, as simple as that. Okay, just right-click on the sheet tab, and you will see what? Delete. And once you click on delete, I mean, that worksheet is gone. Please note, number one, I want us to know 2 things. Number one, make sure that you are ready to delete the sheet, because if you delete the sheet, you can't get it back. Please note that. If you delete a worksheet, you can't get it back. Okay? So be sure that the sheet you want to delete, you don't want it again, or the sheet you want to delete doesn't contain important information, because the moment you delete it, Excel doesn't give you access to get it back again. That is why if I have something here, in my worksheet, okay, let's say I type region, okay, then I type what? South. Then I'll come back here and say maybe region like South, okay, I type region like North, and I type the sales value here, maybe 600 or maybe 1,000. Now, notice that I have something now, I have some data in this worksheet. Now, because Excel is so sensitive, meaning it knows that there's something in this my worksheet, all right? So if I right-click on this sheet tab and say delete, it will ask me, do you want to delete it? It's a Microsoft Excel will permanently delete this sheet. Not that, look at that word there, permanently. So be sure that you want to delete this worksheet, because once you delete it, you can't get it back, okay? Don't come and ask anybody, or don't go and ask anybody, please, how do I bring back my worksheet? I just mistakenly delete my worksheet. How do I bring it back? Please, you can't bring it back. That is why if there is any information in that sheet, or if there's any data in that sheet, Excel will warn you first of all. Look at the warning here. It's asking me Microsoft, or it's telling me Microsoft Excel will permanently delete this sheet out. Do you want to continue? Because why is it asking all this? Because it knows that the moment you delete this sheet out, you can't get it back. So please, let's note that in case you want to delete your worksheet. All right. All right. So I repeat, number one, right click on the sheet tab you want to delete, and you'll see what delete. All right. Number two, finally, click on the sheet tab you want to delete and look up here. There's a group here called cells, and under this delete, you will see what delete sheet. Please, let's look at my screen very well so that you can see where I click and follow up very well. Okay. Look at where I click here. I mean, under home tab, okay, home tab here, there's a group here called cells, and you have delete. On that, you have delete sheet. So you can also delete your sheet from here by choosing delete sheet. All right. So you can add and you can delete. All right. All right. So I'm sure we got that. Okay. So please, trust me, we are going to do a lot of things here. So if we can stay behind, there are a lot of things I want us to notice around here, because Excel is wide. Trust me, we're going to learn a lot. Then the next thing here is, in my presentation slide, I said that we're going to look at how to hide sheet. I've talked about 3 of them already. Number one, I've talked about how you can add Excel worksheet. I've talked about how you can rename. I've talked about how you can delete. Next thing that was in that my slide, if you take note about what was in my slide, was hide. How do we hide Excel worksheet? Now, look at, for example, 2023, February sales, March, and so on. Now, let's assume that I want to focus in this January sheet, okay? I want to focus in this January sheet. I don't want to see other sheet, all right? For example, I have region, I have sales. Let's assume in this January 2023, I have my region, I have my sales. Let's say in South, I have 600 sales. In North, I have, okay, sorry, this is not. So I have 100 sales, for example, all right? But I don't want February and March sheet to be here. I want to hide them temporary, okay? Yes, I said that when you delete sheet, you can't get it back. But when you hide, you can bring it back, all right? So here, I have February sales. I want to hide this sheet called February sales. I don't want to see it for now because we are not yet in February. Since we are still in January, I want to focus on January sheet, since that's what we are working with, like our report, all right? So how do we hide this February for now? First, you right click on the sheet tab you want to hide, okay? I repeat, you right click on the sheet tab you want to hide. Then you will see what? Hide, okay? Now, once you click on hide, okay? Once you click on hide, that sheet disappear. Remember, it doesn't just disappear forever. You can bring it back. I will show us how to unhide our sheet. Remember, I said that we cannot undo the sheet we delete, but you can unhide the sheet you hid, okay? All right, so let me repeat the process again. How do you hide? I repeat, you right click on the sheet tab you want to hide, okay? Then you will see hide. Or alternatively, you can also go to this format, okay? Please look at where I'm clicking, this sales group, we have format here. Please, this format I'm clicking is under home tab. I'm not talking about any other tab. In our next class, we'll look at other tabs, all right? So if you click on home tab, under this, we have format. Then you have what? Visibility, and you have what? Hide sheet, all right? Hide sheet. So my point here is that if you don't right click on the sheet tab and see hide, you can also come here to format, all right? And you will see what? Visibility, and you will see what? Hide sheet. Please, let's take note about this in case you want to try this out. So I can right click here and I'll see what? Hide sheet. Notice that before now, I have January, February, and March. But right now, I have hid February and March sheet. So my focus right now will be on what? January sheet. So how do we then come back and unhide our sheet? Let's assume we are in February. I want to unhide my February sheet to continue preparing my report or work my report. How do you unhide the sheet and work on it? This is how you can unhide your sheet. To unhide your sheet, you have to right-click any existing sheet, okay? Any existing sheet. Now, once you right-click on any existing sheet, in my own case, I have January sheet that is still available. So just right-click on that, and you will see what? Unhide. Okay, unhide. Now, once you click on unhide, then you will see this unhide dialog box that show us all our hidden sheet. All our hidden sheet. Which one are you bringing out? Let's say I want to unhide February. Just click on it and click OK. Look at this, it's out now. If I want to bring back the next sheet that is still hidden, I can also right click on any of the sheet tab. In this case, now I'm going to right click on February sheet tab. Then you will see what? Unhide. Okay. How we all see this. We look at my screen very well, like I said, so you can follow. So once I right click and click on unhide, now it shows me the unhide dialog box, as you can see, which I also see my hidden sheet, which is March, and I click OK. Now I have unhide all my hidden sheet. All right. So basically, that is how you can hide and unhide your sheet. Okay. Please, I'd like us to give me a thumb up in the chat box. Okay. Just to show that we follow up. Okay, please. Like I said, there will be a section for questions. All right. I don't want any distraction for now. I just wanted to follow up and understand this process step by step. But trust me, there will be a section for question at the end of it, which we're going to run up very soon for this particular section. So please, just a thumb up in the chat box. Let me know if we are following up or if we understand. Please, I want to see a thumb up. I don't just want like, I don't want it to be like I'm the one talking alone. That's why I'm taking it step by step. Okay, and I'm also trying as much as possible to mention or to bring out 2 or 3 steps about how to perform all these tasks, so that if you don't follow up in this particular process, you can follow up in the particular steps on how to perform this task. Okay. All right. So please, just a thumb up so that I will know that we understand and follow up. All right. Thank you very much. All right. All right. All right. So the next thing we're going to look at here will be protect worksheet. Okay. Protect worksheet. Now, take note of what we are trying to describe or explain here so far: add, rename, delete, hide, and the next thing we're going to look at is protect worksheet. Sometimes we may have some important information. Okay. We may have some important information which may be so vital, which may be so important that we can really leave it open. Talking about how we can protect our document, because there's some important information you may not want other. Okay, let's assume you're working in an environment where you share your computers. Okay, maybe you close some on duty and other people are having access to your computer. Now you have some important information that you don't want others to have access to. Let's assume you'll be preparing a budget that has to do with values, that has to do with PQ or staff payroll. You don't want any staff to see the content of your worksheet. You don't even want any staff to edit any data in your worksheet. So how are you going to protect your worksheet to avoid unauthorized users having, or to avoid unwanted people having access to your worksheet? So I'm going to show us briefly how you can protect your worksheet. I'm going to give us 2 ways you can do that. Okay, I'm not just going to show us how to protect our worksheet. I'm going to show us how to unprotect the worksheet. All right. Okay, so here we go. This is how we can do that. Number one, first, right click on the sheet tab. Okay. Once you right click on the sheet tab, you will see protect sheet. Okay, protect sheet. Now, once you click on protect sheet, you will see this dialog box. Now, in this dialog box, it says password. In fact, let me just repeat the process again, please. I repeat, I want to protect this sheet called January 2023 because here I can edit this. Let's say I type maybe is, okay, is, for example. So as you see, I can type anything or I can edit anything in this worksheet, but I want to protect my worksheet. Okay, I want to protect my worksheet. So how do I protect my worksheet so that nobody will have access to edit the content and repeat the process? Number one, right click on the worksheet tab. Okay, right click on the sheet tab. As you can see, I want to protect January 2023. Now you will see protect sheet. Okay, once you see protect sheet, you click on the protect sheet. All right. Now, in this protect sheet dialog box, you will see password to unprotect. Password to unprotect. All right, password to unprotect. Now, what I need to do right now is to type the password I want to use. Please make sure that your password is simple. Okay, use something that is simple. All right, so that you won't forget, because the moment you forget the password, you can't get it back. Even me, I won't know how to remember or recover the password for you, please. Okay, so if you're presenting your worksheet, okay, make sure you use a password that you can remember, just like we can all remember our ATM password. Okay, so please use a simple password. All right, that is the instruction from Excel, not me. All right. All right, so let me put a password here by typing a simple password here and click OK. It will ask me to put another password. I'll just repeat that same password to confirm it, then click OK. Right now, I have protected my worksheet. Notice this. How do you know that you have protected your worksheet? The moment you start typing it again, let's say I want to type something here. Okay, let's say I want to change this 100 to 1000. Now look at, I'm trying to type here, but I cannot. So look at that. It's the cell or chart you are trying to change is on what? Protected sheet. To make change, unprotect the sheet. So what that means is that a user has protect the worksheet. So the only way is for you to unprotect the worksheet. So look at that. It said the cell or chart you are trying to change is on what? A protected sheet. That means I have protect my sheet, meaning nobody will be able to have access to edit anything here. So it's always very nice and very good for you to protect your worksheet. Just like you lock your door, okay? Maybe you want to step out, you lock your door so that nobody will have access to your room. Same thing goes here, okay? So you protect your worksheet so that nobody will have access to edit anything in it, all right? Let me repeat that process so that you can follow up again before I show us how to unprotect it. Remember, when you protect your worksheet, you cannot do anything, okay? You cannot type, you cannot edit, okay? Now, number two method I want us to know how you can protect your worksheet is this. Let's say I want to protect February sales. So what I'm going to do is to click on this February sales tab. Then the next method you're going to do is I'm going to go to format. All right, look at this format, please. Then you will see what? Protect sheet. Guess what? Do you know that by default, your worksheet is protect? Look at what it's saying. It's a prevent unwanted change from others by limiting the ability to edit. So that means once you protect your worksheet, you are limiting people from editing the content of your sheet. Remember, you may have some important information which you don't want others to edit. That is when you need to protect your sheet. All right. Okay, please, I would like to see our thumb up if you understand and follow very well. So just drop a thumb up in the chat box again. All right, thank you. All right, so here I'm going to come back here and say what? Protect sheet, which you've seen where I'm clicking. Okay, then I'm going to type the password, then click OK. We type the password and click OK. All right, so the summary is this. Number one, right click on the sheet tab, you will see protect sheet. Number two, click on the sheet you want to protect. All right, and you come here to format and you will see what? Protect sheet. Now, the moment you protect the sheet, if you go back there, you will see what? Unprotect sheet. All right, even though I right click here now, I will see unprotect sheet. Why? Because I have protect the sheet. All right, so that is basically how you can protect your sheet. Remember, the aim and purpose of protecting your worksheet is to avoid unwanted change, or is to avoid other people having access to your worksheet. All right. All right, so quickly, how do you unprotect your worksheet? Quickly, to unprotect your worksheet, all you need to do is to right click on the worksheet tab. Okay, like right click on the sheet tab you want to unprotect. In my own case, I have protect January, as you can see, and I want to unprotect it. So just right click on it, then you will see what? Unprotect sheet. Now from this unprotect sheet, you click and then type the password. Okay, then click OK. Right now, I have unprotect my worksheet. So I can now type or edit this value as it is now. Okay. Let me repeat that process. Let me unprotect my February. So I will click on February, then right click on it. Then you will see unprotect. Why? Because I have protect this worksheet. So now it's assuming that I want to unprotect it. So you can click unprotect sheet right here. Or you can just click on the sheet tab, then go to this format. Remember, I mentioned this format. Then you will see what? Unprotect sheet. Now, once you click on unprotect sheet here, then the password dialog box appear. Then you can type a password here and click OK. And that is how you can protect and unprotect your worksheet, so that anytime I have a confidential or important information here, the moment I close my Excel workbook, anybody that open my Excel workbook will not be able to edit anything. That is just the aim of this, or that is just the exercise of this. So if I should close my Excel workbook or save my work and close, anybody that have access to my laptop or to my computer and open my Excel will not be able to edit anything. All right. So that's why we need to always protect our worksheet in case you have important information, important information you don't want others to edit. Yes, they will see the information, but they won't be able to edit it. Okay. It's like maybe where I type, okay, it's like maybe I have region, I have south, and I have what? 600, I have east, I have 500. And imagine someone opening my workbook and come back and change from 500 to maybe 1000. Okay. So to avoid that, always protect your worksheet so that others won't have access to it. All right. Okay, so I'm sure we are good with that. And please keep the thumb up for me to know that we are all following very well. We'll soon get to the question section if there is any. But before then, let's see the next thing we can do here. Okay, the next thing we want to do here is how do we protect our workbook? Remember, what I just finished explaining was how to protect your worksheet. So let's see how to protect your workbook. Remember, from my first introduction presentation slide, I talked about what workbook is. I talked about what worksheet is. All right. So how do we now protect our workbook? Now, I'll just give us one simple method you can use to protect your workbook. Let's assume you are done with your work. Okay. let's assume you are done preparing your Excel workbook, maybe your calculation or whatever you were doing, and you want to save it and protect. I want to follow the process of how you can save and protect your workbook. All right, save and protect your workbook. All right, let's go there. Number one, you click on File. I repeat, you click on File. All right, then you click on Save As. All right, I'm sure you're following this. Click on Save As. Then you choose what? Browse. All right, I'm just taking it easy. Browse. All right, then we're going to see this Save As dialog box. All right, we're going to see this Save As dialog box. Now, here's the keyboard shortcut in case you don't want to follow this process. In case you don't want to click on File, go to Save As, and click on Browse and see the Save As dialog box. Here's the keyboard shortcut. The keyboard shortcut in your system or your laptop or your computer is F12. That is on your functional key F12. I repeat, F12. Okay, F12. Okay, so when you press F12, like I said, I will try and send some of the keyboard shortcut I mentioned so far so they can understand and maybe note them in case you want to use it. But the keyboard shortcut for Save As is F12 or FN plus F12. Please let me write that keyboard shortcut here. Okay, quickly. FN, okay, FN plus F12 on your keyboard for what? Save As. Okay, I'm just typing it so that you can see in case. Save As, that if you want to save for the first time, or just F12. Okay, I hope you understand this. Okay, all right, so please look at the keyboard shortcut here on saving. That is, if you want to save for the first time, FN plus F12, that is Save As, or F12. All right, just F12 on your keyboard. It depends on your keyboard. It's either you press just F12, that is F12 alone, I mean, or FN plus F12. So if you look at your keyboard, you will see FN. Please check your keyboard very well. Just hold down your FN, then tap F12. All right. Okay, so that's what I'm doing now. Now, here is my Save As dialog box. Okay. So quickly, I want to save my document to the desktop. Please look at my screen so that you follow very well, please. Thank you. So I want to save it to the desktop. So what am I trying to do? I'm clicking on desktop here. Then I now put my file name. Okay, I will call it online. I will call it online class 2023. Okay, online class 2023. That's my file name. All right, online class 2023. Now, apart from clicking where I want to save this workbook to, apart from putting a file name online class 2023, I want to protect my workbook. Okay, so how am I going to protect my workbook? Please look at it very well. This is very important now. Okay, it's not about a file name. You can use any file name of your choice. You can decide to save it any way you want. But how am I going to protect my workbook so that nobody will knock in your door? Nobody can open it, okay, except you. All right. So what I'm going to do right now is to click on these tools. Please look at this place very well. Okay, tools. Okay. Now, when you click on these tools, I repeat, tools, then you see what? General option. All right. I repeat, after putting your file name, select where you want to save it to. Please look at this place, tools. Once you click on these tools, then general option. All right. Now, once you click on this general option, you will see where you can type a password. All right. So I can now type the password here, password that I want. Ignore password to modify, it's optional. All right. Password to modify is optional. All right. Then I click OK. Remember, use a simple password. So let me type the password again and click OK. All right. So once you do this, you have protect your workbook. All right. Then finally, I can now come back here and click on what? Save. All right. So right now, I have saved this workbook right now, meaning if I should close it and open it, it will request for the password, meaning nobody will have access to this workbook once I close it. Somebody can come and say, okay, online class 2023, oh, what is inside? Try to open it. It will request for the password. It's like when you lock your phone and someone tries to have access to it. it will prompt for the password for the person can have access to your phone. So that is how you can protect your workbook. All right. Finally, on this, before I talk about one more thing, how do you protect and unprotect? Okay, we talked about protect. How do you unprotect? So to unprotect your workbook, this is how you're going to unprotect it. All right. I'm still going to go through the save as process. All right, save as. Remember, F12, or you can go to file and save as. So I'm going back to the save as process. Then in this case, since my intention is to unprotect my workbook, what you're going to do is under these tools again. All right, under these tools again, you will see what general option, that general option here. Now, once you click on these general options, then in this general option dialog box, you will see this dot that represent the password. All right, you see the dot that represent the password. Just do what? Press delete key. All right, press delete key that represent the password. Once you delete the dot, it therefore means that you are trying to remove the password. Then you click on what? Okay, and now come back and save it. Okay, that is how you can follow to unprotect your workbook. Remember, I talked about how you can protect your worksheet and unprotect your worksheet. Now, I talked about how you can protect your workbook and unprotect your workbook. Remember, a workbook is an Excel document. All right, so that is how you can protect and unprotect your workbook. Okay. All right, your thumb up on the chat box will enable me to know that we all understand and follow up. Thank you. Okay, so finally, I think I just have a few minutes before I wrap up this section for today to continue tomorrow. Trust me, tomorrow we're going to look at a lot of calculation because I'm just giving us some foundation introduction about all these areas so that you can understand how to manipulate in our worksheet. So we're going to talk about function and formulas, how you can apply some formulas in your Excel. But let's just spend some few minutes and talk about something. The next thing in my slide was autofill. Okay, autofill. If I want to type January to December, I don't need to type from January to December. I can automatically fill it down. Now look at how it works here, autofill. All right. So once I type January, I want to type January to December. I don't really need to waste my time typing January, February, March to December. No, please look at it very well. Very important. Once you type January, if you look at the bottom edge of this cell, you see where I'm pointing, please? At the bottom edge of this cell, you click and drag. I'm not holding anything. I'm just clicking and drag. Then you will see February, March, April, May, June, till December. Once you see December, you release your mouse. See that now? So right now, I'm able to type January to December without wasting time to type them one by one. All right. Let me repeat that process. I say what? January. Okay. After typing January like this, because I want to type from January to December or to any month, it mustn't be December. All right. So once you type January, what you will do is just point at the bottom edge here. See where I'm pointing, please? Then you click and drag. Okay, as you're dragging, as you can see on my screen, you see February, March, April, May, June, July, till any month you want to stop. And that is it. Like I said, it saves your time from typing it one by one. I can also do it in abbreviation. Abbreviation is saying that if I type JAN, that is generally in abbreviation, all right, JAN. That means if I do the autofill, February, March, April, May, the rest will be in abbreviation. All right, so you see the difference there now. This I type in full, that is January. So if I do my autofill, the rest follow same. But if I type January in abbreviation, that is JAN, then the rest will follow the way the first one was, that is January, February, March, and so on. All right. You can also do it for days. Let's assume I want to type from Monday to Friday, Monday to Saturday. So I can just type Monday, all right? I don't want to waste my time typing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to Friday. What I want to do is once I type Monday, all right, at the bottom edge here, like I said, please notice where I point at the bottom right edge. See where I'm pointing, the cursor turns to plus sign. Then I click and drag Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or any day. Then release your mouse. All right. Let me do that again. MON. That is Monday in abbreviation. Once I point at the bottom here, all right, bottom right edge. I repeat, bottom right edge of the cell. You click and drag. You see Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, till a particular day. That is Sunday. Now you notice that Sunday pop out, meaning once I release my mouse, Sunday is what I'm going to see. So autofill helps us to automatically fill this. So you don't waste time typing Monday to Friday. You don't waste time typing January to December or to any month. Just do it with autofill once you type one of them. Finally, let me talk about in numbers. If I want to type 1 to 20 or 1 to 10, once I type 1, all right, I just type 1. Again, at the bottom of these cells now, see that where I'm pointing, please. At the bottom of these cells, I point, then click and drag. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 is what I will see here. Now look at this place I'm pointing here, which is what autofill option. From this autofill option, please look at where I'm pointing, autofill options. Once you click on this arrow, you will see what fill series. Okay, fill series. Now once you click on fill series, it will fill it for you 1 to 9, depending on the number you stop. Okay. Let me show us the final steps here. The final process here is once you type 1, okay, if you type 1, before you drag it down, you hold down your control key. I repeat, you hold down your control key, then you point. See, please, where I'm pointing, please. You point here, okay? I'm holding down my control key on my keyboard now. You hold down your control key on your keyboard, you point, then click and drag. As you are dragging, you will see 2, 3, 4, 5, till any, then you release your mouse. Okay, let me repeat that process again. You type 1. Once you type 1, at the bottom edge of the cell, that is bottom right, you see where I'm pointing at the bottom right, the cursor will turn to plus sign. Then you hold down your control key on your keyboard, hold down your control key, then click and drag. You will see 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, till any number you want to stop. When you see the number you want to stop, release your mouse and your keyboard, and that is it. All right. So with that, you don't need to waste time typing some numbers. You don't need to waste time typing some text. With the help of autofill like this in Excel, you can automatically fill in your data. All right. Okay. I'm sure we understand all this I'm trying to explain so far. Whatever video, like I said, will be dropped for us to view later because this section is being recorded. So we'll drop in case you want to go back and visit a particular area, you should be able to do that. And again, for now, I need to pause here and go back to the main page, which I'm going to see if there's any question for now. And because of time, we will look at there's 1 or 2 things I skipped. Trust me, we're going to talk about that first thing in our next section so that we can follow that and continue. But please, tomorrow or in our next section, we're going to talk about calculation, okay? Using Excel function to perform calculation. All right, thank you. And let's see any questions so far. All right. Okay, please. It's question time. Just 1 or 2 questions before we exit from here. Okay, please go ahead, Mr. Michael. I'm seeing Michael here. Or you can equally type your question in the chat box if you want to. All right. If you can type your question in the chat box, that will be fine. or you can ask. Okay, please go ahead and type your question. Okay, yeah, please go ahead and type your question. All right. Thank you very much. Okay, I like this response, quite explanatory to me. All right, I appreciate that. Please join our next class so that we can talk about much on Excel calculation. Like I said, I'm just going through the introduction part for us to understand some few areas for now. All right, I appreciate Mr. Michael. Thank you. Okay, Experience Smith, please go ahead and type your question, please. Okay. Okay, Mr. Isaac, yeah, I appreciate your comment. I really, really appreciate. It means that you follow up. I appreciate. Thank you very much. Yes, we're going to let you guys have the video. Like I said earlier, okay, there was a notification or a chat I dropped earlier before we started that we're going to send the video to you. Okay, not just today. This class will last from now till Friday, but trust me, all the video section will be sent to you as promised. We're going to do that, all right? But of course, you still need to join the next section to still learn more, okay? Because the video will just be like a guide for you to follow along, okay? The video will be like a guide, okay? But very important, you need to join the next section so you can learn more. So thank you. There will be video, yes, for you to go along with. All right. So please, I don't know if there's any question again, either you type or you just say it out so that we can wrap up. Okay. Flora will send the video to everybody. Thank you. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate your concern. I appreciate your time. Trust me, I'm not taking your time for granted. And trust me, I will prepare something nice for our next class. Trust me, I'll prepare something nice, okay? And I'm just trying to take my time because we are all learning, okay? I'll make sure that I take my time to break down and explain a lot of things for us to understand. That's why I won't be in a hurry. I want us to learn very well. Okay, please go ahead with a question. I've seen Miss. Okay.
Hello.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. I'm listening.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, ma.
And good evening, everybody. Thank you. My name is Flora.
All right, Flora, go ahead.
Okay, during your presentation, although the presentation was okay, I really enjoyed it. During your
Okay.
presentation, I find it difficult to kind of view the essay that was on my laptop and to be watching what you are doing. So I tried to
Okay.
ask question. A guy was kind of trying to put me through on that aspect, but I couldn't do that. I don't know if you can put me through so that by tomorrow, as we are explaining, I'll be doing that on my system as well.
Okay. You have Okay, first of all, you say you have your Excel in your system, right?
Yes, it came with my laptop. I don't know whether they install it for me, rather.
Okay. All right. So, okay, so your challenge was that you were finding it difficult to follow along and apply in your Excel screen, right?
Yeah, because if I want to access the video, I have to close down this one and go minimize this and minimize that, which I couldn't follow
Okay.
what you are doing.
Okay. Now, do you have idea about using second screen?
No, what I did, I saw where they wrote where I have 3 dots, which I did picture in picture.
Okay, anyways, I understand what you mean very well, but in regard to that, I will advise if it's possible to get a second screen. A second screen is like additional monitor you can use and help yourself, or if you have another laptop, you can keep beside you so that you can be applying it immediately since you want to be applying that. So that's my suggestion. If you can afford or if you can get a second screen, that would be very helpful for you. All right.
Okay.
So that you don't need
Okay.
to be minimizing and try to follow up my video or my screen. And so I understand very well what you mean. So my
Okay.
advice and suggestion for that is for you to try and get a second screen. Or maybe if possible, you can, let me show you another thing which I feel may be possible. If possible, you can use your phone, your Android phone to be watching, then your laptop, you keep it for applying it in case you want to apply immediately. You understand what I mean?
Okay, that means I can
Okay.
join with 2 devices.
Yeah, sure. You can use your phone to join the class. Then your laptop is where you open the Excel in case you want to apply the practical
Okay.
immediately.
Okay, that will be better. Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank
Okay, Mr. Experience made okay, Mr. Smith or Experience Smith, the screen sharing, I don't understand, but if I should understand your question, yeah, I think you are not supposed to share any screen. If there's any screen that should be shared, I'm the one that's supposed to do that. All right. I think I'm the one that's supposed to share the screen, not really you. Okay. So I share every screen I need to use for the section or for the class. So that is it. Okay. Yeah, so I'm the one to share the screen. You're not supposed to even share the screen. Your own is to follow along, or if possible, if you have Excel near you, you can practice with it and ask question and flow from there. Okay. I don't know if there's any one more question so that we can exit for today. Okay, so please, I really appreciate everybody. Please, I would like us to stay for tomorrow, and we're going to do a lot tomorrow, and we're going to work on this. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, and I appreciate. I'll see you guys tomorrow and on time. Yeah, sure. We'll cover a lot of things that we couldn't cover. Like I have 1 or 2 things pending uh, that we're going to start with tomorrow. Okay.